Hi there and welcome to YogaPad. This is a 30-minute class just for you for times when you just feel like a practice but a more quiet practice. So it's really suitable to do before bed if you just feel like a really nice unwind. It's also really nice to do any time of the day where you just feel like a little bit of a peaceful practice where you just get to stretch everything out and really breathe very deeply. So let's start just sitting. You can sit as I am, or you can take the legs crossed, and we'll just start with a nice intention. Take the hands onto the tops of the thighs, nice soft eyes behind your closed eyelids, and we'll start with a beautiful Buddhist reading, loving kindness meditation. May I be well. May I be happy and content. May I be free from danger and suffering. May I be filled with loving kindness. So just holding those words in the body. And then just slowly blinking the eyes open. So the first posture, held posture, we're going to do against the wall. So I'll just show you first away from the wall. Side angle, and then we can go over to the wall and you can practice it. So we're going to basically have our back against the wall and stretch out our hamstrings. So we're going to start by nuzzling the very top of the back and the neck onto the wall. Bent legs to start, quite bent. And then just taking either the hands onto the floor, or you might want to climb the hands or the elbows onto the knees. See how you feel once you get there. And we're just going to breathe there initially with bent knees. And then after about a minute or so, we can start to nuzzle our shoulders down the wall a touch more, maybe straighten the legs a bit more. Find a spot for your arms. They might be happy on the thighs. You might want to hang them down along the wall like this. You may want to support them on the floor. So just see how you feel once you get there. So coming over to the wall, step about a foot or so away from the wall and bend the knees quite a lot. And just lean into the wall. So just very slowly, it's right there, so you're not going to fall. And quite bent legs, find a nice spot for your feet. Just see how those initial stages feel. And work out what a good spot for your hands is. So either supported on the floor, holding the elbows hanging, or take the hands onto the thighs and you can feel your elbows against the wall. So just settle in here. Nice deep breath, bending the knees a little bit more if it's already intense, or you can start to straighten the knees initially if you've got a bit more length in the hamstrings. So nice long deep breaths. Little by little, as your breath starts to deepen and the back of your hamstrings start to open up, you can wriggle the back down the wall a bit much, possibly start to straighten the legs a little bit. Check in with the hands where they are, on the thighs, hanging on the floor. So just find a comfy spot for your arms. If this is enough for you already, then start to make your way up the wall and out of the posture. If you feel you can stay another minute, start to nuzzle your back down the wall a teeny bit more, start to straighten the legs a teeny bit more, so they can still be bent or they can be working towards straight. And just really breathing into the back of the legs, breathing some height into the back of the hips, and feeling the
shoulder blades just nuzzling down the wall. If you need to come out, then just come out and sit back in child's pose with the hips onto their heels. If you've got a little bit more in you, we'll stay another half minute. So if you're still here at the wall, take the hands, just fingertips onto the floor, bend one leg at a time, lower the hips and just push through the fingers to bring yourself away from the wall. And very, very, very slowly start to make your way up. And already feeling quite nice and stretched out through the back here. So coming to the, staying at the wall, grab your blanket. I'm going to stretch out through the front of the quads this time. So take your knee and take the top of the foot against the wall and take this front foot to a square. So this knee, if you quite tighten the quads, then have it a distance away from the wall, you know, about this long or whatever you need. If you've got a bit more length in the quads, you can take the knee right back to the wall and slide the shin onto the wall and step the foot forward this way. Quite an intense stretch there. So just work with where you're at. I like to take it about halfway between that. So I've got mine about this far away from the wall. That feels good. So nice square shape with the front of the foot, and then lengthen the tailbone down towards the floor. Lift the front of the pelvis up. Just lengthen the top of the chest. Breathe in and then exhale, just very slowly lunging forward. Inhale, coming up. And then exhale, very slowly lunging forward. So it doesn't need to be a big movement. Close the eyes if you feel nice and balanced here. Keep breathing in as you come up. And then exhale, and then really feeling into the stretch at the top of the thigh. So your choice, you can keep moving back and forth with the breath, or you can settle in a downward spot if that feels good for you in the thigh, or you can settle in a more upward stance if that feels good for you in the thigh. So you choose your spot, and whether you're moving in and out or just staying and breathing. Two more breaths. And then slowly releasing, taking the hands to the floor and swapping sides. Just move the blanket over, finding a spot for your knee, so either against the wall, about 10 or 12 centimetres away, or about 30 centimetres away. Wherever feels good for you, take the back of the top of the foot onto the wall, creep this left leg forward, step the hands up. To see, does that feel all right? If you need to adjust the knee back to the wall or further forward, then go for it now. And just settling in here, feeling the initial stages of the stretch through the front of the right thigh. So inhale, really lift through the chest, and then exhale, send the tailbone down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the front of the pelvis,
And then exhale very slowly, small movement, lunge forward. Inhale, come up. And then exhale. Just lunging nice and slow, doesn't have to be a huge rushed movement. Inhale slowly up. And then exhale. If you feel balanced, you can close the eyes and move up and down. Really internalize. And your choice to keep working like this, up and down with the breath, or if you feel happier to stay in a spot, really feeling the stretch here, stay. If it works better for you to come up and stay up, then stay up here for a good minute. Find a nice, solid, smooth breath. Two more breaths. And releasing the hands to the floor, coming out of it and making your way over to the mat. Might be a bit of a crawl, it's quite strong in there. And let's continue to just open up the front of the thighs. Sometimes I don't get much of a chance in our day-to-day living. The front of our thighs tend to contract quite a lot. So just initially sitting down, you may want, you've got a choice here. We're going to either lie back over the bolster in a moment, or you'll be sitting up. If it feels uncomfortable for you to have your bottom directly on the floor, then grab a little towel or a blanket and pop it under your bottom, and that'll just give you a bit of a lift and a little bit of less stretch through the front. So that might be a nice option for you. Once you've found your spot here, just take the hands onto the middle of the thighs with the palms facing up. Close the eyes. And I'm going to continue our beautiful Buddhist loving kindness meditation, keeping the eyes closed and the palms up in a nice receptive gesture. May you be well. May you be happy and content. May you be free from danger and suffering. May you be filled with loving kindness. So your choice, you can either sit here if that's enough of a stretch for you through the front of the legs, and just sit here, keep the palms up, just in a nice receptive gesture. If you've got a little bit more in the front of the thighs, you can lie back over the bolster. So just have the bolster right at the base of the spine and start to lie back. Find your little pillow at the back, and then just gently lift the back of the hips, lengthen the tailbone towards the back of the knees, and then settle back down. And take the palms to face up again. Nice gesture of receiving. Close the eyes. And breathe very deeply. If there's any tight spots, really use your inhalations to gather energy. And exhalations to smother any of the tight spots with that extra energy. Front of the knees, front of the thighs, shoulders, back. And just enjoy a couple of minutes here.
couple more breaths here. And then slowly making your way out of it. You might need to lean to one side and kind of use the other hand to push you up very slowly, making your way out of the posture. Coming up, the knees might feel a little funny after that. So just tap the back of the feet, get a little bit of energy through the bottom of the lower legs. And then coming to sit. So if you know that your hamstrings are tight, and when you do seated postures you normally like to sit on a blanket, then grab your blanket and pop it under the hips now. And we're going to take your bolster out in front of you and taking the legs wide, pushing through the hands, lifting the hips, take them a touch wider, and initially just getting the circulation back into the legs after the previous posture. So inhaling, flexing the feet, and then exhale, point. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. Take a few little circles with the ankles. The other way. And then we're ready for our nice wide-legged forward bend. So if you find it, if you're happy sitting here with straight legs, then stay. If straight legs in this position, even if you're sitting on a blanket, is just feels not that comfortable for you, then bend the knees in and take the soles of the feet towards the bolster in front of you. So find a nice spot here. If your knees feel uncomfortable, you could even get a few cushions and pop them under your knees. So something for them to rest onto. Just so find a comfortable spot. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so it's worth taking the time to set up comfortably. So just for this, I'm going to take my legs wide, point the toes up, grab the bolster and actually bring it right in towards me, so that when I fold forward I can actually feel the bolster pushing a little bit into my belly, which is a nice thing. So a nice big breath in, lift the spine long, feel the back of your hips moving back behind you, so you can even grab the flesh of your bottom and pull it out and send it back behind. So lifting up and then exhaling, folding forward. Again, taking the palms up, nice receptive gesture. And breathing here, seeing how that feels for you. So we'll be here for a couple of minutes. If this is a nice spot for you, you can feel a bit of length through the hamstrings, a little bit of length through the lower back, then that's a nice place to stay. If you'd like to have some resting on your forehead, you can roll up your blanket on top of the bolster here and take the forehead down. Take the forearms along the floor. So another minute here. See if you can really tune into a nice long, deep breath. Feel the rhythm of the breath really surging through the whole body. couple more breaths. And just slowly starting to walk yourself up. So if you've had straight legs, just bend them very slowly and walk them in. So in the next one we're going to do is a chest opening. So if you've got a brick's really nice, even though it's quite hard, it feels quite nice on your shoulders. If you don't have a brick, then a rolled towel or blanket will be just fine. So I'm going to take this as a little pillow and take the bolster away. So the rolled the rolled blanket or the brick is pretty much going to be at the base of your shoulder blades. So take a bit of time to set up here. Wriggle yourself onto the brick. This is on the low level, right at the base of the shoulders. And I just like to see how does that feel today. Some days it feels different to others. So take the hands out. So the legs you can have either straight or you can have in a diamond shape. So if that feels okay for you, it's still a lovely chest opener, then stay. If you feel like you could go a little higher, then you can flip the brick onto the mid-level. Again, find the bottom tip of your shoulder blades, lie back over, find your pillow, and see how that feels for you today. You can either stretch the legs out straight or bring them into a diamond and take the hands at an angle just out from you. And we'll stay here for a few minutes, and over the next couple of minutes we'll have some different arm positions. So we'll just start out here. Particularly if you're on the higher brick, just make sure your neck feels comfortable. You might even want to run your fingers up the back of the neck, lengthen it out, and place it back down onto your little pillow behind you. Make sure you've got some nice length. Slightly lift the chin. So some nice long deep breaths. You can especially direct some of your breath into the back ribs and really feel the ribs expanding against your blanket or your brick. And that will really help get some nice depth and expansion around the whole rib cage. So either keeping the arms where they are, otherwise you can move them up and have them directly out from you, shoulder height. Just feeling your shoulder blades sort of draping over the brick or over your blanket. So feeling the breath again in the back ribs. You can also start to direct some expansion into the very top of the lungs, so the top of the chest. If your arms can go a little further, you can take them up a bit, so they're about a 45-degree angle out from your shoulders. You can straighten them out. It gets a really beautiful opening across the whole front body. And again, really direct your breath into the back ribs and to the upper chest. if you'd like to, you can take the arms overhead, clasp the elbows, and take the folded arms overhead. So a few more breaths wherever you are, wherever your arms are. And then slowly starting to make your way up. So lift the chest, come onto one elbow, take the other hand and just gently ease yourself up. And should be quite a strong feeling through the chest, so just counter that. Nice arch through the back, lift the knees, round yourself out. And then inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, round through the back. And coming up. Okay, so coming on to the floor, just do a nice side hip opening pose to finish off. So crossing your right leg, right knee over your left, and initially just clasping the fingers. Inhale here, and then exhale, just gently draw your right knee towards your chest. You'll get quite a strong sensation through your right hip. So either holding here, or you can reach up and hold the left knee and draw both knees close towards your chest. And another option is to reach up, find your feet, and draw the feet closer towards your armpits. And you'll get quite a strong sensation through the hip. So holding here, so a good half minute. Releasing the feet and changing sides. Left knee crosses over the right. Initially, take the clasped hands over the left knee. Gently draw the left knee into the chest. If you'd like to, you can take the clasped hands over the top knee. Third option, reach up, find both feet, and gently draw them in towards your armpits. A couple more breaths here. Gently release, undo the knees, soften the knees towards the chest. Take the hands behind the knees, gentle rock back and forth through the spine, and then gently swaying yourself up. Come to sit in a nice comfortable cross-leg position.
Take your hands onto the knees, close your eyes, and I will just finish our beautiful loving kindness meditation. So keep the eyes closed and just breathe this in. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy and content. May all beings be free from danger and suffering. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. So keeping the eyes closed, if you've got some time, you can just quickly pause and stay here for a few minutes, seated meditation. If you're ready to finish, just take the hands very gratefully into the heart, looking inward and feeling blessed for this time that you can spend. Namaste. Thank you.